speaker is from Heraeus, Ms. Hu Ming. She's going to talk about Heraeus precious metal sustainability development and strategy. The floor is yours. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Firstly, on behalf of my company, Heraeus, I would like to extend warmest gratitude to the organizer for inviting us to do a presentation here on the efforts that we have committed regarding sustainability, and also I would like to talk about our strategy. In fact, regarding sustainability and sustainable development, we have the following insights. Firstly, we think that precious metals are extensively used in all areas of work and production. And regarding our sustainable development strategy, our strategy determines the important role that precious metals play in various industries. And the precious metal industry has to formulate new industry standards. We are a professional precious metal company, and we are the first in the world to set the target of becoming a carbon neutral company by 2025. To support our efforts to achieve this goal, internally at Heraeus, we have determined that sustainable development strategy is part of our culture nowadays. Well, in the fact that all of you are from the precious metal industry, so you know the industry pretty well. You know that precious metals are extensively used in all areas of our life. And China's 14th five-year plan laid out that we need to elevate our efforts on high-end manufacturing and developing clean energy. So I would like to give you a couple of cases regarding how clean energy can be further developed. For hydrogen, I've heard lots of speakers and presenters talking about the hydrogen economy. Regarding hydrogen economy, PAM and green hydrogen need to use catalysts of precious metal. Regarding high-end manufacturing, like the heart pump, and heart pump uses platinum in the wiring that it uses, and anti-cancer drug also uses platinum. So platinum is used in various sectors. At our department, we try to become a leader in precious metal, and in 2025, we want to achieve carbon neutrality on the Scope 1 and Scope 2. As Peter Drucker once said, and here I quote from him, "Culture is strategy and breadth force." What does that mean? It means that if you want to see your success in your strategy, culture must come first. So sustainability is part of our culture, an inherent part of our culture. It means that at our department, we need to pay attention to the sustainable career of our employees, and also we need to pay attention to the interactions between our company and the society. Also, we must be concerned with environmental protection. Well, next up, I would like to give you a few words about our pathway towards decarbonization. The goal is rather simple. By 2025, we want to achieve carbon neutrality on the Scope 1 and Scope 2. In all of our 16 bases, we will achieve 100% pure green electricity. And on the basis of our emissions in 2019, we will reduce emissions by 20% by 2025. After 2025, we will start working on removing our need of fossil fuel, and we want to achieve 100% replacement of fossil fuel by 2033. And in the meantime, we want to achieve net zero. Well, in order to achieve all these ambitions, we have several tactics and pathways. First is to track our carbon footprint, and based on it, we formulate clearer pathway and roadmap. And secondly, in order to achieve the roadmap, we have several action items. We need to make sure that every department and every product business have to live by the principles laid out in the roadmap. Another thing is, again, about culture. That means that every employee from top down has to carry out the principles and ideas of sustainable development. But for a company to sustain, we need to bring value to our partners. So we are committed to working together with our partners so to help them achieve neutrality and peak as early as possible. In one word, we have 4 drivers that prompt us to achieve net zero. As I mentioned, that by 2025, we will reduce emissions by 20% on the basis of the emissions in 2019, and 100% of green electricity will also be achieved, and by 2025, we'll start working on technological R&D to remove fossil fuels. Well, we were to remove our need on fossil fuels. And also regarding the 20% emissions reduction, which represents a goal that we do not make any compromise on, as our sea levels pay a lot of attention to it. We lay equal emphasis on carbon emissions KPI as well as economic performance KPI. In all of the 16 bases globally, on top of the 2019 emissions, we managed to bring down emissions by 11%, which is the current level. Of course, that's attributable to management optimization of industrial processes as well as procedural optimization. And we have additional goals of further bringing down our emissions. Regarding green electricity, all of our bases currently have an installed capacity of solar power. On average, across the globe, in all of the electricity that we consume, 15% is produced from solar power. In China, we have bases in Nanjing and Shanghai, and in Nanjing, solar contribute to 20% of the electricity that we use, and the figure is less than 10% for Shanghai base. Regarding technological development, starting in 2025, we will start working on replacing fossil fuel with natural gas. We'll start research work on that front. So for Heraeus, all of our businesses surround sustainable development and sustainability. Let's just break it down into 2 parts. The first part concerns our product lines. Some of our products are more conventional, and some of our products are in a constant evolving process. Our strategy in China is to invest in China, for China, and for our Chinese partners. Our goal for the future is to keep enriching and diversifying our precious metal-related product collections, in particular concerning high-end manufacturing and clean energy, including, among others, wind power, solar power, and hydrogen power. And for hydrogen power, as was already mentioned by some previous speakers, PEM catalyst-wise, Heraeus provide some of the best PEM catalyst in the world, and we enjoy a market-leading status on that front. As previous speaker mentioned, in order to ensure sustainable development of the hydrogen industry, we keep iterating our products to bring down the content of precious metal to contribute to the sustainability of the hydrogen economy. Regarding our services, and in particular precious metal services, it plays a very important part of our entire service mix or service matrix. All of you are experts and participants in the precious metal industry. Precious metal from the source need to take into consideration reducing emissions of carbon dioxide. So a few tips. There are 2 ways of getting precious metal. You can get it by mining, or you can recycle. So take platinum. Out of all the platinum consumed, 50% comes from primary sources, and the rest 50 comes from recycling. So the emissions of carbon dioxide account for only 1 to 2% of that emitted in the process of mining. I'm talking about platinum, palladium, and rhodium specifically. That's why we keep optimizing and fine-tuning our recycling capability in order to bring down emissions of carbon dioxide from the very source. Going forward, we'll keep working on it, keep working on controlling emissions of carbon dioxide from the very source or origin. As I'm responsible for the Chinese markets, and we have 3 bases in China, one in Shanghai, mainly working on functional materials, and the second is in Nanjing, focusing on chemicals. And our third base is in Pinghu, funded by a joint venture formed between us and BASF. So the joint venture, starting from this year, can gradually receive feedstock of spent auto catalyst. Our joint venture with BASF is believed to be a win-win collaboration, and it's believed to be a marriage of 2 strong players. We hope that we can bring more advanced smelting capacity into China to contribute to the sustainability and stability of the supply chain in China. If you're interested in China, in Heraeus China, feel free to follow us on WeChat. Thank you.